All right, people, I'm back. Today we're going to do another college football video. Today is episode 2. It's going to be LSU. That means the LSU Tigers versus the Florida Gators. Coach versus coach. See, this one's a very different video because it's going to be Nick Saban, the coach, versus Urban Meyer. Now, these are two good, or should I say, two great college football coaches, two head football coaches, both respected, both loved and revered, and both know how to kick ass and take names, and both have coached their respectable college franchise teams to national championship titles in their respectable divisions. Now, the reason why I'm doing coach versus coach is because I should have done it in my NFL series, but I wanted to do the players. And here in college football, there'll be a consistent mix of player versus player, coach versus coach. Make it very fun and interesting, but at the same time, make it unpredictable. I don't want to, do the same thing like I did in the last series. So in this series, I want something new, something fresh for my YouTube subscribers. Now I got 47 subscribers, so I want to say thank you. Without you people, this would never be possible. I'm trying to be humble, and the reason why the NFL series was so great in the first place, because I got into a little debate slash argument with a girl that had green hair at my job. She likes the Green Bay Packers. I like the New England Patriots, and come to find out, if it weren't for me and her going back and forth on those football teams, that NFL series probably would have never came out the way that it came out. I still would have done the NFL series, but it would have not been as good as it turned out. Now, I know the last 3 videos of that series weren't all that good, but I promise you, here in college football, this will be a little different. I promise you, we'll try something new and something different. We might even do what they call a fans reaction, where I go ask fans who like college football who they would rather see in a versus video, opposed to me just making the videos for you. If you like that, make a comment. If you don't like it, still make a comment. If you like it, thumbs up the video. If you just hate the idea, just thumbs down the video, and I'll get your answer and I'll know exactly what to do and what not to do. Now to our YouTube video presentation. Now, the LSU Tigers have won 3 championships. Now, in a 100-year history of college football, they've gone to a Rose Bowl, a national championship, like maybe, I would probably say maybe anywhere between 6 to 12 times in a 100-year history. And they only won 3 championships. 1958 was the first one that they ever won. Then sometime later in 2003, and then again in 2007. Now, the reason why they haven't been able to win more championships with their head coach, Nick Saban, is because the football team always had injuries. Now, this is a great football team. I mean, they can win. They've beaten teams when people have counted them out. They've beaten Florida State, Ohio State. They've played against Michigan State. They've played those type of football teams. And, of course, let's not forget Alabama, one of their all-time arch rivals in college football history. Now, the reason why they won 3 championships in a 100-year history and they haven't been able to win is because of injuries. The last 5 out of 10 years, their quarterbacks stay injured. These guys, they can throw the football. They want to play in and out of pocket. They get hit. And then these guys want to go to the NFL. So somewhere their second or third season, they want to leave college and go to the NFL level. And they're told by their coach, you're not ready for the NFL level. You should do at least 4 years. So sometimes it's, I want to go to the NFL. And sometimes these guys get seriously injured. And then there are times where they don't get hurt. They're not trying to go to the NFL. They play 2 years, but then they want to go and play for Alabama. And that actually did happen 10 years ago. They actually did have somewhere in the 2000s where their best player was a quarterback, and he wanted to play for Alabama. and that kind of caused some controversial. And then our coach, not my coach, but the coach Nick Saban decided he would leave LSU if they don't pay him enough money or they don't guarantee him he gets to coach a future championship game. And there were rumors in the 2000s after he had coached this team to 2 championships during his time there, and he almost won a 3rd title with the team. It was either it was going to fire him, replace him, and he decided to do what most head coaches do. I decided I'm going to play for the rival football team, and that's kind of what he done. If it weren't with Alabama, then it was with another football team like Alabama, like an Auburn. And I'll double check the sources later to make sure that I'm saying the right information. But the point is, after he had coached them to 2 championships, he almost coached them to a 3rd title, which they did lose. And of course, when they lost to Alabama and they got blew out, it was the most embarrassing watched televised football game in history. For so long, people wanted to see what would happen if LSU went against Alabama. They lost to them in the preseason. They lost to them in the season twice. And when they got into the championship game, they got blew out in the championship game. And that was I think in 2008, 2009. Every time they would face Alabama, they would always lose. And the only time they would beat Alabama is if their best player wasn't playing, if their best player was hurt, or it was unknown circumstances, and that allowed LSU to pick up a victory. So in the past 10 years, LSU has faced Alabama some 50 times and only won 10 out of the 50 games that they played against each other, which is insane, and it's madness when you think about college football. I mean, seriously. And the reason why this team has not been able to win any more titles is because ever since Nick Saban left and they've fired 4 coaches, they can't seem to decide if they want to play offense, defense, a little bit of both. They don't know who their quarterback is, so they have 3 damn quarterbacks. And you can never tell with this football team what you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get the LSU that won a championship in 2003, 2007. You don't know if you're getting the LSU that lost against Alabama 21-0, most embarrassing college football game in history. You don't even know if you're getting the LSU that just wants to win football games in the season, but has no interest in pursuing championship. You don't know what football team you're going to get. It's like this football team has an identity crisis. And that's the main reason why they haven't gone to a national championship, a Rose Bowl. But Nick Saban is most remembered for being a coach that coached them to 2 championships, had a chance to win 3. If he did win 3, it was with another football team. So you get why I'm telling you the history of LSU Tigers. Now, for Florida. Florida is a team, for whatever reason, can't seem to do what its predecessor before it did, which is Florida State. Now, in Florida, we do have some players that are most recognizable, like Tim Tebow, for an example. He did play in a national championship game, looked very incredibly great in the game. Can't say the same thing for his NFL career, however. But my point is, here on this football team, for about almost 10 years, there was a head coach by the name of Urban Meyer, who managed to get this football team to where it needed to go. Now, here they managed to win some national championships. I guess in this division, they refer to it as the BCS National Championship title. Now, here in their 100-year history, they went to a championship like maybe 4 or 5 times, but when it comes to these division titles and these national championships, you don't want to mess with this Florida team. I mean, these guys will run you the hell out of town. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, they're not afraid to run the football. They don't care if you're coming in all 4 directions. They will run you out of town so bad, your own grandma will take a broom out and hit you in the head and say, why are you underestimating this college football team? I mean, in fact, they've blown out football teams that they had no business beating. They have won football games in overtime when you thought the game was over. And just when you thought these guys couldn't make a comeback in a 20-point deficit, they come back and they surprise the hell out of you. And then they do things in the football game that you don't expect. They'll throw the football to 3 different people, trick you, and then before you know it, they've made a touchdown. And some of their best football players on Florida are currently in the NFL. And this is a good football program. Problem is, they only won 2 national championships, and the reason why they haven't been able to capitalize on their opportunity is because their head coaches get fired. Their staff, one minute knows what the hell they're doing, and the next minute the staff don't know what the hell they're doing. And every time you watch them on TV, you get this sense that one day Florida will go to a Rose Bowl. One day they'll win the big one. They'll win the national championship title. You just get this feeling that somewhere 4 or 5 years down the road, they're going to win the big one. And the whole world's going to be shocked in college football. Now, for almost 10 years, this coach, Urban Meyer, has been trying to get this team to do something it hasn't done before. Now, he coached them to a Rose Bowl, but they lost the first time they went. And it would be like almost 4 years later with a new squad that he would go back and try again. Got real close the second time. And instead, they win the BCS championship because that was a title, I would say, made and designed for them to win. And they've beaten LSU in football games. Like, there was this one game where LSU had the game won. Like, they actually had it won. And then somewhere in the fourth quarter, because they're Florida, they did the unthinkable. They got LSU somehow turned the ball over 5 times. Next thing I know, Florida won the football game. I'm like, what the hell? When I'm watching on TV, I went to the bathroom to come back, football game tied up. All of a sudden, they up by 5. I'm like, what? Next you know, Florida won the football game. I'm like, oh damn, LSU, they got their ass whooped. So who is the best college coach in college football? Urban Meyer or Nick Saban? Here, I would probably go with Nick Saban just by a slight hair, simply because his brilliance is similar to that of NFL head coach Pete Carroll. And Urban Meyer is kind of like a young version of New England Patriots head coach, yours truly, Bill, you know who. So I'll let you decide who's the best college football coach. Until then, peace.